This movie tells a story about a young woman named Harper who goes on a solo vacation to the English countryside. As Harper embarks on a fortnight stay following the death of her husband James, she begins to explore her surroundings and process her grief around her husband's death. It becomes evident that something is deeply amiss. First of all, this movie does quite well in some parts. It succeeds in building the atmosphere, at least in the first half. The movie creates a palpable mood of dread and unease. The performance of the cast is also very good. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie leaves much to be desired. The movie attempts to marry its folk horror elements with the story of Harper's difficult marriage, and these two narratives eventually don't quite mesh in a coherent way. It actually starts quite well and effective, however, it soon begins to take a literal approach to even its most abstract ideas. The movie is explaining its ideas to the camera during scenes where mood and tension begin to feel like afterthoughts. What starts out as an intimate, eerie piece eventually feels like an exercise in self-indulgence. The movie tries to carry a message about misogyny. Unfortunately, it's very basic. There's no insight on the subject of the very real misogyny within the modern world. It's also overly produced, as the emotionally empty images dominate a film that makes broad gestures towards the subject of toxic masculinity while failing to land a single point in a meaningful detail. It's meant to be about a woman's plight, or the plight of all women living under the crush of patriarchy, but it seems much more interested in all of the Rory Kinnear's weird guys doing their spooky thing. Rather than deeply engaging with the experience of his female character, the movie presents schlocky, splashy horror sequences to spoon-feed a fake concept of misogyny and the trauma and terror it brings daily. It plots operates on too literal a level for its haunting imagery to stick in the mind, and it soon becomes hard to take it seriously when the many Rory Kinnear's characters are meant to be imposing in a classical horror movie monster sense. The movie builds expectations by creating a suggestive atmosphere that, as the horror and the home invasion elements kick in, leads to an anticlimax. Harper's traumatic backstory and the eerie folklore seeds do not cohere in a bloody spectacle that is absurdly gaudy rather than exhilarating. While the final act is full of violence, gore, and some bizarre body horror, it lacks the daring to make a statement. The grotesque scenes doesn't feel rooted in deeper meaning. Overall, this movie ends up as a disappointment. We do not recommend to watch this movie in theaters. Just wait on your streaming service.